Shaking people, back with another reaction, back with some more Erasure, and we're going back for another bonus tune from their 1994 album, I Say, I Say, I Say. Once again, big thanks to Seb for making this stuff available, as well as not only other Erasure, but Kate Bush and Pet Shop Boys and all number of groups, including, I realized I never reacted to the original Nena 99 Love Balloons, which I know, some people aren't huge on that one, or maybe they feel like it was overplayed, but after doing the George Kranz one, I feel obliged to go back and get that. So at some point soon, I'm going to circle back and get that one, because it is a tune that I think is, very profound, not just in its time and place, but perhaps, perpetually. Nevertheless, let's get back to what we're doing now, which is, again, a bonus tune included in an expanded edition, or, an extra part of the I Say, I Say, I Say album, and that is to say, it is a track called Dodo. Now, Dodo, it makes you think of the extinct species, which is used as a metaphor in a number of different ways. There's a great song by Bad Religion called Way of the Dodo. And in that sense, it's about, walking to one's extinction, or, being unaware of the dangers of your extinction, until it's too late. So in that sense, it's about a species that doesn't exist anymore. And I think Dodo might also be used, and certainly in, pop culture and other forms of fictional entertainment, it's used as an indication of low intelligence or dumb thinking, which, if you don't know the background historically, when the dodo bird was encountered, it was very curious, and it was, walking right up to the humans who had come ashore, and the humans were perplexed by this and just started, cutting them down and using them for meat and so on. And so the reputation of the bird is based on the idea that it was not looking out for its self-interest. It was very stupidly ignorant and naive in terms of the way it approached humans. Now, I think the accounts like that, they tend to be hard to verify, certainly when it comes to something that long ago. But ultimately, there are accounts about wolves, for example, hundreds of years ago, that are thrown into question by what we now understand about wolf behavior and ecology. So, whether the dodo was really that willingly naive and, walking right up to soldiers who were holding, sharp weapons and so on, it's not entirely clear if that was the case. Nevertheless, it is often used to indicate dumb behavior, dumb decision making. But I have also seen the concept of dodo used to indicate a vulnerability, or something that was trying to interact with others in a more positive and tranquil way, but was taken advantage of by the forces of barbarism and cruelty. So I feel like it could be any one of those things. Maybe it's not even so much about a theme related to the dodo, even by metaphor, and it could just be a silly name for a more sonically driven tune. So I feel like the options here are manifold, but again, I would not be surprised if it relates in some way to a metaphor related to the historical and now extinct species. So I'll stop talking, we'll get it. This is Erasure, Dodo, a bonus track included in an extra folder related to the I Say, I Say, I Say album, 1994. Escalating. Feels like an Irish jig. And it's very danceable and feels electronic folksy, but I'm on the edge of wondering if this is an instrumental. Or at least this is an instrumental version. I remember someone said there's a vocal version that tries tragic? Or is it tragedy? It's like, surely that's not it. Feels like a track you might use as an interlude at a live show between two bigger and lyrical tunes. Maybe to give Andy a break so he can get a drink of water and catch a breath. Based on a traditional jig or some type of folk dance. Like it feels familiar even though I've never heard this tune. Yeah, really fascinating. You know, once we got about a minute in, I got a sense that all my talking in advance was completely irrelevant, so I do apologize for that, which, you know, in a way, I enjoy going into tunes mostly blind. Sometimes I know it does help to have a bit of context, or at least a piece of key information, but generally speaking, I do enjoy going into them mostly blind, if you will, so occasionally that is going to happen. But yeah, is it tragedy or tragic? I want to remember. It is tragic. So yeah, ultimately I do remember when I reacted to that, someone pointed out there is also a vocal version somewhere, so at some point I imagine we might be able to go through that. But for now, I think there's at least a couple more tunes in this. I still have the second and third disc to finish on the deluxe edition of Chorus. I think there's, you know, more live tunes. I think I've gone through maybe 2/3 of the remixes on the second disc. I think like rarities. I think there's a couple that are not actually remixes. But the point is, still some work to do there. I think there's also, again, the Snow Globe, maybe one from the Crackers International EP. I think there's a bonus track still from Wild. Yeah, I think there's at least like one Wild bonus track. So many like Erasure sub-deep dives to catch up on and finish. But again, once I do all of that, we'll go on to the self-titled album after that. So yeah, let me know what you think of this quirky little tune. Again, it feels like a tune you would use as an interlude at a live show, or just maybe on an album to break up heavier tunes or tunes with a bit more emotional gravity as a way to, you know, cleanse the palette and then, you know, restart with another track with more emotional depth. So yeah, ultimately I enjoy it for what it is. It seems, you know, like a light frolic, if you will, very folksy, but again, tinged with that electronic synth pop feel. And again, big credit to Vince Clarke for the diversity of his sound. I know he's known for, you know, synth work and his electronic synth pop sound, but again, the number of ways that has come to manifest, as I now understand and am still learning, is really impressive. And obviously, and indeed I'm lagging on it, I've been meaning to do another VCMG reaction, which is a project he did with Martin Gore, where they basically made techno tracks, early 2010s. So yeah, he can obviously, you know, produce great sounds, not just in the synth pop vein as well. So yeah, once again, big shout out to Vince. Do let me know what you think of this one. I will see you next time. Peace.